Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the February 7th, 2003 Post Falls City Council meeting. Shannon, please note that all council members are present. Tonight, we have one announcement. City Hall and city business offices will be closed Monday, February 20th in observance of President's Day. Police, fire, and rescue services for life-threatening or in-progress emergencies may be reached by calling 911. The police department will be open for walk-in emergencies. For water department emergencies, call 208-773-3517. Council, tonight I would like to ask for confirmation of the appointment of Kibbee Walton to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Shannon, please take the roll.
Shows,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Borders,
Aye.
Malloy,
Aye.
Ziegler,
Aye.
Thorson,
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. And just for the record, Mr. Walton will replace Ryan Davis. Ryan has served, he and I were trying to decide, at least 10 years. That's an awfully long time to serve on planning and zoning. Ryan did a great job running the meetings. He did a great job adhering to code and to the law. Like many of us, Ryan took a lot of criticism over the years, and he, held fast, and he did the right things, and that's an extremely large amount of time that he has donated to the city. And I know he's not here tonight, but I did want to thank him publicly for his time and commitment to the city. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
There are none tonight, sir.
Do we have any declarations of conflict or ex parte communications? I will add that it's not ex parte, but I did receive a request to be in Coeur d'Alene to testify on their public hearing tonight. So I thought that was interesting. I told her, I said it'll come before us probably sometime down the road, but it's not ex parte at this point. I declined the offer. Shelley, would you please present the consent calendar?
Item A is minutes from the January 17th, 2023 City Council meeting. Item B is payables January 10th through January 30th, 2023. Item C is right-of-way dedication agreement for future roundabout at Prairie Avenue and Zoris Road with Lakeside Real Estate Holdings, the second LLC. And item D is right-of-way dedication agreement for future roundabout at Prairie and Zoris Road with Prairie Crossing Center LLC. Item E is dedication of utility easement by the Millworks project. Item F is dedication of a utility easement, former alleyway between West 6th and West 7th Avenue. Item G is Camille Park concessionaire RFP solicitation. Item H is correction to 11723 consent calendar agenda memo rebid award of 2 dump trucks to Freightliner Northwest. Item I is consultant pre-selection list for 2023 through 2024. Item J is Adams Annexation Agreement and Reasoned Decision File ANNX-22-12. Item K is Millworks Garden Plat Application. Item L is Millworks Ridge Plat Application. Item M is,
Shelley, those are
sorry,
Timberworks?
let's start all over with K. How about item K is Timberworks Garden Plat Application. Item L is Timberworks Ridge Plat Application. Item M is Timberworks Vista Plat Application. Item N is November 2022 cash and investments. Item O is Stockwell Court Subdivision Plat Application. Item P is Foxtail 9th Edition Subdivision Construction Improvement Agreement. And item Q is disposal of 2 vehicles. Item R is Stockwell Court Performance Guarantee.
Any questions on the consent calendar?
Well,
Shelley,
I
Terry.
have a question since I was absent from the January 17th meeting and we're approving the minutes of that meeting. Is that an issue?
No, it's not. Approving the minutes are essentially approving that the process that we use to generate minutes renders accurate minutes.
And I did review them. I just
There you go.
don't know if it all really
Lynn?
happened.
A question on item H on the Freightliner rebid. It looks like we approved last meeting the bid for the 2 trucks with a trade-in, and this correction is to approve the bid without the trade-in. So if that's the case, what are we doing with the 2 trucks that
Ross?
they were offering for the trade-in?
I noticed a $15,000 increase.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what they were gonna give us on the trade-in.
Good evening, council, Mayor. The Ross Junkin, operations, maintenance manager. We intended not to trade those in. We felt we could get a lot more money, sending those to surplus, to auction, than what the dealer wanted to give us. The number that was included originally was the trade-in number, which was a incorrect number. So that was the change.
So the intent will be to sell them at auction then?
Correct.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Thanks, Ross.
I'd move for approval of the consent calendar as presented. Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Malloy.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Shove.
Aye.
Ziegler.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public hearings. Tonight we have none. Followed by unfinished business returning ordinances and resolutions. We have 4 ordinances. The first is the fiscal year 2023 budget amendment.
I would make a motion to place the ordinance FYI 2023 budget amendment on its first and only reading by title only while under suspension of the rules.
Second.
Motion second. Carrie, you meant FY, not FYI.
Well, of course I did.
Okay. Motion is second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Walker.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Shove.
Aye.
Ziegler.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Wilson.
An ordinance of the City of Post Falls, Idaho, amending the annual appropriation ordinance 1467 for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022, to reflect the receipt of unscheduled revenues and to authorize expenditure of previously unbudgeted fund balance, increasing and establishing the appropriations for expenditures in various departments and funds, providing that the tax levy upon taxable property within the city is not affected hereby, providing that all ordinances in conflict herewith are superseded by this ordinance to the extent of such conflict, and providing that the ordinance shall be effective upon its publication date.
I move to approve the ordinance FY 2023 budget amendment and to direct the clerk to assign the appropriate number and that it be published by summary only.
Second.
Motion seconds. Further discussion? Roll call.
Walker.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Shove.
Aye.
Ziegler.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next ordinance.
I move to place the ordinance Cottage Homes file number TA-22-7 on its first and only reading by title only while under suspension of the rules.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Shannon, please take the roll.
Thorson.
Aye.
Shove.
Aye.
Ziegler.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Wilson.
An ordinance of the City of Post Falls, Kootenai County, and Municipal Corporation of the State of Idaho, providing for amendment to Municipal Code Section 1812.010, definitions, providing for amendments to Municipal Code Section 1820.040, official bulk emplacement regulations table, providing for a new Code Section 1824.032, titled Cottage Home Residential Performance Standards, providing that the remaining sections of Post Falls City Code shall remain in effect, providing for severability, providing for this ordinance to be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
I move to approve the ordinance Cottage Homes file number TA-22-7 and to direct the clerk to assign the appropriate number and that it be published by summary only.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Roll call.
Thorson.
Aye.
Shove.
Aye.
Ziegler.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next ordinance?
I move to place the ordinance zoning approval criteria on its first and only reading by title only while under suspension of the rules.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? Roll call.
Shove.
Aye.
Ziegler.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Motion passes.
An ordinance of the City of Post Falls, Kootenai County, Municipal Corporation of the State of Idaho, amending Municipal Code Sections 1812.010, 1816.010, 1820.100 to provide a definition of demonstrable adverse impact and to establish new review criteria for zone changes, providing that remaining sections of Post Falls City Code shall remain in effect, providing for severability, providing for this ordinance to be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
I move to place the ordinance zoning approval criteria And I move to approve the ordinance zoning approval criteria and to direct the clerk to assign the appropriate number and that it be published by summary only.
Second.
Motion seconds, discussion. Roll call, please.
Shove,
Aye.
Ziegler,
Aye.
Borders,
Aye.
Malloy,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Thorson,
Aye.
Motion passes. And the last ordinance.
I move to place the ordinance Adams Annexation File Number ANNX-22-12 on its first and only reading by title only while under suspension of the rules.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Roll call, please.
Ziegler,
Aye.
Borders,
Aye.
Malloy,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Thorson,
Aye.
Shove,
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Wilson.
An ordinance of the City of Post Falls, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, annexing property consisting of approximately 4.75 acres in the west half of Tract 39, Tract 35, Post Falls irrigated tracts according to the plat recorded in Book C of Plats at page 78 through 80, Records of Kootenai County, Idaho, providing for amendment of the official zoning map and providing for an effective date hereof.
I move to approve the ordinance Adams Annexation File Number ANNX-22-12 and to direct the clerk to assign the appropriate number and that it be published by summary only.
Second.
Motion second, further discussion. Roll call.
Ziegler,
Aye.
Borders,
Aye.
Malloy,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Thorson,
Aye.
Shove,
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Wilson.
So I think we're going to need to bring this one back to you. It looks like we've got some errors in the title that I've noticed as I'm reading this, so we'll be bringing this one back to you next meeting.
On the last one?
Yeah,
Okay,
on the
we're all right,
annexation.
just- Or do we need to?
We're fine.
Okay.
We'll bring it back and have you get the right title in there.
Okay.
So we don't need Carrie to rescind a motion or anything?
I was gonna.
No,
Okay.
Did I make
we're
it up
good.
or what?
Next item is new business, and the first is the purchase of 2 parcels located to the east of the Post Falls Police Department. Chief?
Mayor, Council, Greg McLean, Chief of Police. From our workshop, you guys heard me speak about the need for an expansion of the police department. And what I'm proposing here is that the expansion is going to be about 16,000 square feet. It was already, the building was already designed for an expansion after a certain period of time. What you see there in the red would be where we would expand our building. The issue we have is to be within code, though, we would need extra property to be able to cover parking and also expand like our evidence sections and stuff like that. So after I'd met with you guys before, went into negotiations with Finley, and they have agreed to sell us 2 parcels that are just adjacent to the police department, just to the east of us. It's about 1 acre and 1.87. It's kind of a, I guess I want to say it's kind of a blessing that they were willing to negotiate with us, because the whole purpose is to keep us all on one same campus. And to find property in that specific area right now is almost impossible. It's bought up by either Northwest Specialty Hospital or bought up by Kootenai, or it's got something already on it. So in the negotiations with Finley's, they agreed to sell us both of those parcels adjacent to the PD for $12.27 a square foot for commercial property. So for $1 million, they are agreeing to allow us to purchase that property. So I guess what I'm asking from the council is approval to move forward with purchasing these properties for future growth for the police department.
As council recalls, we had fairly good discussion on that, on the need to expand the police department. It's expensive, but it's commercial property. It's in an area you need it to be. Council, any thoughts or additional comments?
I think it's necessary, and it keeps our campus all together, like Craig said. I fully support it. The price is real reasonable, actually, too, for commercial property. So.
And just to clarify, this would be purchased with impact fees that we have.
So, it was my understanding, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it was my understanding that this was going to be purchased out of the facility fund because the property was not included in the impact fee study for the expansion of the police department. And
Okay.
so we will get back to you on where it is. We have funds for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we need to make sure that we're taking it from the right location.
Okay.
Yeah, it's location, location, location. You know, cheaper property could probably be gotten 10 miles away, but then you'd have so much more expense just from having to shuttle stuff back and forth. That, I mean, $1 million for less than 2 acres still just blows my mind these days, but that's what stuff's going for, so that's
I was gonna say, is that market value?
Yes.
Wow.
Actually, it's
crazy.
below market value.
Yeah.
It's less than market.
And that property wasn't for sale, was it?
No.
Yeah.
I'd entertain a motion.
I'd move for approval of the purchase of the 2 parcels located to the east of the police department from Finley.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Borders,
Aye.
Malloy,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Thorson,
Aye.
Shows,
Aye.
Ziegler,
Aye.
Motion passed, thank you. Thanks, Chief, appreciate your work on that. Next up is the architectural service contract, and I'm gonna say this wrong, is it Intergrus Architects for design of the Renovation Street Administration Building? How do you pronounce the name of the company?
Intergrus.
Intergrus, thank you.
Oh, it's a misprint, that's why.
We got an extra R on
It's
the.
an extra
Oh,
R.
good, boy.
Yeah.
I thought it was just me.
All right, good evening again. Ross Junkin, Public Works Maintenance Manager. I'm here tonight to touch base with you on see if you are willing to approve an architectural firm that the city selected through our consultant roster to do the design work on the streets administration building, as well as the water reclamation facility, one of the pieces over there. Both of these fell into the facility needs assessment that was conducted a year and a half ago, which found a number of things, one including on both campuses really, the lack of crew space as we continue to grow with our staff. We added a couple this year in street workers. I know that on the water reclamation side, they're doing the same thing. Also, restrooms on both sites are lacking. We have 2 single stall restrooms on the street campus for 27 employees, I think, right now. Locker room space on both sides is very small, and meeting rooms are pretty insufficient. There's some pictures. That's from the street side. The locker room is a panorama, so it actually looks bigger than it really is. But those are the 2 bathrooms that we have. So when our crews come in for lunch, there's 18, 19 guys that come in, and they got half an hour to get lunch and use the restroom. So it's a bit of a challenge jockeying that. Same thing. This is some pictures from the water reclamation side. That's a control room. That skid office right there. That controls, that one terminal controls the entire facility over there. And then they have the same issues with their break room, and it seats about half the crew at a time. So what we're looking to do is hire Intergrus to identify the existing, the current conditions and what we can do with them to meet the needs identified in the facility needs assessment. That was also called out in the master plan for the water reclamation about 10 years ago. As part of the contract, they would perform the survey of what we have there, create design options that we can go through and identify which would be the best fit for us, each group, and then put together construction estimates for us and drawings necessary to bid to find out what this would cost us. So that is what I'm here tonight asking, is to enter into contract with them to get all these designs ready so we can see what it would take to do this work.
Questions of Ross? Go ahead.
So this is not just renovating, but expanding?
So on the street side, It's within the existing admin building. We'll use that footprint. We won't expand the building. It would, my understanding is that we could just, there's no bearing walls in that building, that we can just gut it and then rebuild it. There's a large meeting room space in there that's, HVAC system does not do very well in there. It's very cold in the wintertime. I mean, like 15, 20 degrees below the building temp, and very hot in the summertime, so it doesn't get used. That would be corrected and be able to use for offices and a locker room space and bathroom. And then on the water reclamation side, they are looking to identify what the need would be on that. There's potential that it would go outside of the building footprint, but they haven't identified that just yet.
In the street side, that is the former Post Falls Mazda building.
Correct. And
Correct.
nothing's really changed.
Yeah,
since
so
it
that was built
purchased by the city.
for a car dealership.
Correct.
Okay.
And we're operating out of the same
Yeah.
facility they did,
For quite
including the
some
fleet
time.
shop. It's all the same.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I would move to approve the architectural services contract with Intergrus Architects for design of the renovations of the Streets Administration Building.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion. Roll call, please.
Malloy.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Shove.
Aye.
Ziegler.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is citizens' issue, and this section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the council regarding city-related issues that are not on the agenda. If you wish to speak, please come forward. Give your name for the record. Seeing none. Administrative staff reports.
We have none tonight, sir.
Mayor and council comments. I have none at this point. How about council?
I have one real quickly. The upcoming school levy, I would just really encourage everyone to get involved in that process and educate yourself on what that looks like and where the money comes from, where it goes, how it's spent. I know Dina Nacarado, superintendent of schools, would be more than happy to give her presentation to you, just so you are an informed voter on that levy.
Yeah, she told me, and she will literally speak to anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Anytime,
So,
right.
If you have any questions, please reach out to her.
Thanks for bringing that forward. We do need an executive session. And length of time?
20 minutes.
Okay. I move to enter into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-2061C to acquire an interest in real property which is not owned by a public agency, and further that no action will be taken during the session, and that the session will last approximately 20 minutes.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Walker.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Shove.
Aye.
Ziegler.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll enter into executive. Regular session, are there any motions to come forward?
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, thank you.